In this discussion today, we are going to talk about the types of knowledge. In today's world, if you see here and there, everywhere, everyone is running after knowledge. Whichever way it is, either you are gaining the knowledge through Google or through communication or through experience or with meeting people, or whichever way, by reading books, whichever way you are absorbing, gaining the knowledge. Do we really know where do we stand on this particular point? Human has the highest developed brain among all other animals. And science has done so many things in today's world in terms of information and knowledge that we have really shifted our base to a very, very high level. However, the point comes, are we really enough knowledgeable in terms of everything? Is our knowledge complete? Are we lacking behind somewhere for something? That is the point which we are going to discuss today. Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj has mentioned in Swarved that there are 4 types of knowledges. 4 types. And for these 4 knowledges, there are 3 entities among which the relationship is there, and based on those relationships, these 4 types of knowledges are defined. So those 3 entities are the nature itself, which we see outside in this world, including planet, including galaxies, and all the things which we can imagine in this world. So that's the nature. Second thing is ourself, the conscious entity, the soul. And the third one is the Brahma, the creator of this whole universe. Among these 3, there are certain relationships, which if we understand appropriately, then we will be able to define the 4 types of knowledge. So there is one relationship between the nature and the soul itself. That means the human being and other entities, other lives. There is a relationship. We can establish the relationship with the nature. So that is one type of knowledge. Second type of knowledge is the knowledge of the soul itself, knowing the self. Who am I? Not just in terms of reading, not just in terms of knowing by listening to someone. It's actually about experiencing the existence of the self. That is the meaning of knowing the soul itself. And the third one is the relationship of the soul with the Brahma. And the fourth one is the knowledge of the Brahma itself. So these are the 4 types of a relationship. Let me repeat again. Number 1 is the relationship between the nature and the soul. Second one is the knowledge of knowing the self itself, the soul itself. And the third one is the relationship between the soul and the Brahma. And the fourth one is the knowledge of knowing the Brahma itself. So knowing the Brahma is one particular type of knowledge, and knowing the relationship between the soul and the Brahma is another type of knowledge. So these are the 4 different types of knowledges we have altogether. The point is how much we know wherever we are. The whole science, the whole scriptures, what we read out, what we try to understand, the whole books, whatever is available with us in terms of science, in terms of medicine, psychology, the studies, and everything, whatever we know, the solar system, the planet, and all those kind of things, everything and all these kind of knowledges fall under the first category, the relationship between the nature and the soul. The other three types, knowing the self, the soul, knowing the relationship between the soul and the Brahma, knowing the Brahma itself, is almost unknown to most of us. Again, unknown means I'm not talking about knowing by reading only. I'm talking about the experience. And if you understand clearly here, the second, third, and fourth, knowing all these, having the knowledge of all these 3 types of knowledges, actually The second one is the most important. Unless and until we know who we are, what we are, the existence of the soul itself, we would not be able to know the rest of third and fourth knowledges. Because for that to know, for those to know, we must know who we are, what we are. Then only we can find the relationship of the soul with the Brahma, the Supreme Soul, and the knowledge of the Brahma itself. Just reading is not enough. Just reading the book is not enough. Reading the book, analyzing things, understanding on the basis of what we read is mostly a matter of mind and intellect only. If we want to know more, if we want to experience more, we need to shift our basis to the level of the soul only. And then only we would be able to know the superior knowledges going beyond the soul itself towards the Brahma, the Supreme Soul. Try to understand where we are. Are we just revolving around this nature only on the basis of the sense organs, the knowledge of sense organs, the knowledge of the mind and intellect only? Or we have tried to go beyond these? That's the real question. The knowledge is infinite because the one which we want to know itself is infinite. So the relationship and knowing that entity, the knowledge itself, would become infinite. There is no end, there is no limit unless and until we come to a specific basis. And once we reach out to that specific basis, the basis of the soul, then that infinite knowledge, which is limitless, will automatically be visible in front of us, and then we know what the infinity is. Before that, it is just imagination, it is just analysis on the basis of what we read and what we listen. So the four types of knowledges: one is the relationship between nature and the soul. Second, the knowledge of the soul itself. Third, the knowledge of the relationship between the soul and the Brahma. And the fourth one is the knowledge of the Brahma itself. Most of the people in this world, 99.9% probably, or maybe more than that, have only one type of knowledge, which is the first one, the relationship between the nature and the soul itself. There is hardly anyone, rarely one is there who has shifted his base to the soul and went beyond that to know the Supreme Being as well. And for these things, we definitely need to have a guide who can teach us, not just through the book or writing something, rather to teach us at the level of soul in terms of experience at that level itself. And that is the real experience. For that reason, the existence of the Sadguru is most important thing. Find yourself where you are. Do you really need to know more? Or wherever you think you are is the most known thing? Thank you very much for listening today.